showcasing its sea power like never before.
It is a sight that may well be worrying the authorities in both Taiwan and Washington. A new Chinese warship for its navy, which is already the largest navy in the world.
China's $12 billion supercarrier Fujian, the pride of its navy and a symbol of its rise to maritime power, was meant to stun the world. During its highly publicized sea trials, its electromagnetic catapults thundered as J-35 stealth fighters and KJ-600 early warning planes roared skyward. But then came the unthinkable.
China might not agree, the most advanced and lethal fighting machine humans can build.
As the world watched, an American submarine suddenly surfaced within striking range, undetected until the last second.
She is a monster, nearly 8 million kilograms of steel. This submarine will become essentially invisible, undetectable to anyone.
The display of strength twisted into something darker. Across the globe, jaws dropped. The Fujian had been cornered in plain sight. No one saw it coming. And by the time Beijing understood what had happened, it was already too late. China's $12 billion supercarrier. For decades, if you said supercarrier, everyone in the world thought of one nation, the United States. These colossal ships, with their massive flight decks, have been the ultimate symbol of global military reach. They are mobile air bases that can project power to any corner of the globe. China watched this and decided it wanted a seat at that very exclusive table. The Fujian is China's answer. This isn't just another ship. This is their third aircraft carrier, and it's the one that truly marks a quantum leap. Their first two, the Liaoning, refurbished from an unfinished Soviet ship, and the Shandong, built by China itself, were, in many ways, learning experiences. They were stepping stones. But the Fujian, this is the real deal for China. It's China's first carrier that is entirely domestically designed and built from the keel up. That's a huge deal. It signals that China is no longer just copying or adapting, it is innovating. So what makes this thing so special? Let's break it down. First, just look at the sheer size of it. We're talking about 80,000 tons of sovereign Chinese territory floating on the water. That puts it squarely in the same weight class as America's own supercarriers. It's over 300 meters long. That's 3 soccer fields laid end to end. This isn't a small patrol boat. This is a behemoth, a floating fortress designed to command attention and respect through its sheer physical presence. But the real magic, the true game changer, is on the flight deck. For years, one of the biggest limitations for carriers has been how they get planes into the air. Older Chinese carriers used a ski jump ramp at the end of the deck. It works, but it's limiting. It doesn't allow planes to take off with a full load of fuel and weapons, which cuts their range and punch. The Fujian threw the ski jump in the trash. Instead, it installed something called the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, or EMALS. Now, this is a big deal. This is cutting-edge technology. In the entire world, only one other carrier uses this system, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the newest, most advanced, most expensive warship ever built for the U.S. Navy. What does EMALS do? Imagine a super-powered electromagnetic slingshot. It catapults aircraft off the deck smoothly and powerfully. This means the Fujian can launch a much wider variety of planes. It can launch heavier aircraft, like early warning planes and radar jammers. It can launch its fighter jets with a full load of missiles and bombs and a full tank of gas. This transforms the carrier from a defensive patrol vessel into a truly potent, offensive striking platform. And the planes it launches are just as impressive. We're talking about the J-35, a state-of-the-art stealth fighter designed to go toe-to-toe with the best the West has to offer, like the American F-35. Then there's the KJ-600, a plane that looks like it has a giant radar dish on its back. This is the eyes in the sky. It can fly high and deep, seeing enemy aircraft and ships from hundreds of miles away, giving the Fujian battle group an incredible picture of the battlefield. This combination of stealth fighters and advanced radar planes creates an air wing that is modern, lethal, and incredibly dangerous. a tense Pacific. But this ship isn't built for show. It's built for a purpose, and to understand that, we need to look at the map. We need to travel to one of the most tense, most watched, and most contested patches of water on the entire planet, the South China Sea. This isn't just any ocean. This is a region packed with history, vital trade routes carrying trillions of dollars in goods, and with incredibly rich fishing grounds. More importantly, it's a region where multiple nations, China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and others, all have overlapping territorial claims. It's a geopolitical powder keg, and China has been increasingly assertive, building artificial islands and military outposts on tiny reefs, claiming vast swaths of the sea as its own. This is the stage. This is where the Fujian decides to make its grand entrance. The official word might be that it's conducting routine exercises or scientific research. But in this part of the world, nothing is just routine. Every move is a statement. Every voyage is a message. By sending its brand new, most powerful aircraft carrier into these waters, China is doing more than just testing its engines. It is demonstrating, beyond any doubt, that it is the dominant power in this region. It is showing that it can project its will, protect its claims, and operate its most prized asset right in what it considers its own backyard. It's a massive, floating declaration of sovereignty, and the Fujian never travels alone. That's a crucial part of the picture. Imagine this colossal carrier as the queen on a chessboard. It's the most powerful piece, but it's also the most vulnerable. So, it's always surrounded by its protectors. This is the Carrier Strike Group. Closing in around the Fujian is a defensive screen of some of China's most modern warships. We're talking about sleek, powerful destroyers like the Type 055, which are among the most advanced surface combatants in the world. These ships are armed to the teeth with long-range anti-aircraft missiles, anti-ship missiles, and sophisticated radar systems. Their job is to create a defensive bubble, a shield against any threat from the air or the surface. Alongside them are frigates, adding another layer of defense and anti-submarine warfare capability. Above this armada, the air is buzzing. Helicopters are dipping their sonars into the water, listening for any suspicious sounds. And in the skies, those advanced KJ-600 early warning aircraft are flying their patterns, their powerful radars painting a picture of everything that moves for hundreds of miles. From the bridge of the Fujian, the view is one of absolute control. The sensors are clear, the escorts are vigilant, and the air wing is airborne. It is a display of immense power and perfect coordination. It looks for all the world like an invincible fortress. But that's the key word, looks. Because this entire image, this powerful illusion of total control, exists only on the surface. Everyone is looking out and everyone is looking up. The radars are scanning the horizon and the sky. The sonar operators are listening, but the ocean is a noisy place, and the deepest, darkest waters below can hide secrets. The entire formation operates with the confidence that they are the hunters, that they are the ones being watched with awe and fear. They are the center of the universe in their little patch of sea. They have no idea that the universe beneath them is far larger and far more dangerous. They are completely unaware that they are not the hunters at all. In the silent, crushing darkness thousands of feet below their keels, a ghost has been watching this entire parade. It has tracked their every move, listened to the thunder of their propellers, and studied their formation. While the Fujian and its group project an image of invincibility on the surface, a predator from the deep has already solved the puzzle of their defenses, and it is about to introduce itself. The Silent Shadow. This ghost is the USS Ohio, a near-invisible presence in the deep, and it has been carrying out one of the quietest, most delicate maneuvers in modern naval warfare, trailing a high-value target. Imagine life aboard the Ohio. The lights are kept low and red to preserve night vision. Crew members move with deliberate care and speak only in hushed tones. Every action feels measured and controlled. The boat's world narrows to a handful of screens and sonar consoles that gradually build a three-dimensional map of the surrounding waters and the movements within it. On the Chinese ship, there is no immediate sense of alarm. No siren scream and no frantic radio chatter erupts. The radar picture is calm and the horizon appears empty. Sonar returns register the familiar, messy chorus of the sea. Distant whale song, the small snaps and pops of crustaceans. The steady signatures of nearby friendly hulls. And nothing that suggests a hidden threat. Confidence hums through the command chain. Officers aboard the Fujian and its escorts assume they are in control. They trust their layered defenses, the training of their crews and the reach of their sensors. Then, on 23 September 2025, the Ohio chose to send a message that needed no weapon. It did not fire torpedoes and it did not launch missiles. Instead, it began to rise. The ascent was deliberate, a measured tilt that nudged the massive hull upward through the dark water. From the carrier group's perspective, a strange dark silhouette materialized where there should have been only open sea. A lookout on an escort might have been the first to notice the subtle distortion on the surface, and within seconds the water erupted into a foaming wall as the submarine broke through and the vast form became visible. The sight is difficult to overstate. The Ohio is immense, longer than two wide-body airliners placed nose to tail, and its broad black hull seemed to appear out of nowhere near the carrier group. On the bridges of the Fujian and its escorts, the reaction likely moved from confusion to disbelief to the slow, sickening realization of what they were seeing. This was not a small hunter-killer craft. It was one of the largest and most formidable submarines ever constructed, and it had surfaced within a few miles of China's prized capital ship. Surfacing that close was not a conventional act of war. It was a calculated demonstration of superiority. In the unspoken language of naval posturing, the act read like a clear sentence. I saw you, I tracked you, and your defenses failed to detect me. The effect was public humiliation. The Fujian, long presented as a symbol of national pride and power, was suddenly exposed as vulnerable. The white churn of the Ohio's wake and the undeniable presence of the submarine became proof that could not be ignored. The psychological reverberations from that exposure, the sudden shattering of assumed invincibility, and the stark reminder that technology and confidence have limits, could alter calculations, influence policy, and reshape perceptions of deterrence far more effectively than any single live-fire demonstration. Those ripples extend beyond the immediate encounter. They reach naval headquarters, political leaders, defense planners, and ordinary sailors, prompting urgent reassessments of risk, readiness, and posture, and reminding everyone that prestige alone cannot substitute for the constant, expensive work of maintaining effective detection and deterrence now. The underwater powerhouse. So what is this incredible machine? What is the USS Ohio? And how can a single submarine, no matter how big, pull off such an audacious move? To understand that, we have to rewind the clock. Because the Ohio wasn't always the shadowy special operations and strike platform it is today. It was born for a much darker, much more terrifying purpose. Originally, the USS Ohio was a different kind of weapon entirely. It was a ballistic missile submarine, what the military calls an SSBN. These are the ultimate deterrent. Their job was to hide in the deep ocean, carrying enough nuclear firepower to end entire civilizations. They were designed to be invisible, to be a silent, unstoppable threat that would guarantee a devastating response if America was ever attacked first. They were the guardians of the apocalypse. But with the end of the Cold War, the world's nuclear stockpiles shrank. The Navy suddenly had these absolutely massive, incredibly capable submarines, but fewer nuclear missiles for them to carry. Instead of retiring them, someone had a brilliant and frankly terrifying idea. What if we could convert these hidden giants from launching nuclear weapons at cities into launching conventional weapons at battlefield targets? What if we turned the ultimate strategic weapon into the ultimate tactical weapon? And that's exactly what they did. The USS Ohio went into a shipyard and underwent a miraculous transformation. It was converted from a ballistic missile submarine, SSBN, into a guided missile submarine, or SSGN. This wasn't just a simple paint job. This was a complete overhaul of its very soul. The massive tubes that once held 24 nuclear-tipped Trident missiles were reconfigured. Now, they could hold a combination of over 150 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles and other payloads. It went from being a city killer to a battlefield Leviathan, a special operations hub, and a stealthy strike platform all rolled into one. Now let's talk about the scale of this thing, because the numbers are hard to grasp. The Ohio is a true behemoth. It is 560 feet long. To put that in perspective, that's longer than the Washington Monument is tall. If you laid it on a football field, it would stretch from one goal line well past the opposite end zone. When it's submerged, it displaces over 18,750 tons of water. That's more than some aircraft carriers from World War II. It is one of the largest submarines ever to sail in the depths of the ocean. Its size is a key part of its stealth. It's so big and so well designed that it can hide its own acoustic signature, making it sound like a distant rainstorm or a school of shrimp to enemy sonar. But a ship is nothing without its crew. And the Ohio has a unique system to keep it deployed and on station for incredibly long periods. It uses something called the blue and gold crew system. Think of it like a relay race. There isn't just one crew for the submarine. There are two completely separate crews named blue and gold. While the blue crew is out at sea on a months-long patrol, the gold crew is back home, training, resting, and preparing. The moment the submarine pulls into a port, the blue crew gets off, the gold crew gets on, and within a matter of weeks the Ohio heads back out to sea. This system means the submarine itself can be deployed for over 70% of the year. The only thing that limits its endurance is food. The reactor that powers it has enough fuel to last for decades. It doesn't need to refuel. The crew, however, needs to eat. So the limiting factor for how long the Ohio can stay hidden underwater isn't fuel or power, it's how many steaks and eggs they can cram into the freezers. This gives it a persistent presence that is unmatched by almost any other vessel. It can linger in an area, waiting and watching, for months on end if needed. So, you have this colossal city-sized submarine, originally built to hide from the world, now converted into a multi-mission strike platform and kept constantly at sea by a dual crew system. It's not just a boat. It's a permanent, movable piece of American power, capable of appearing anywhere at any time without warning. It is the ultimate instrument of strategic surprise, and as we've seen, it knows exactly how to make an entrance. Unleashing hell. So we have this massive, stealthy submarine that can appear out of nowhere. But what happens when it doesn't just want to send a message? What happens when it's time to actually fight? This is where the story goes from impressive to absolutely terrifying. This is where the USS Ohio stops being a shadow and becomes a thunderstorm. Think about the Fujian. Its power is in the sky. It launches jets one by one from its deck. It's an incredible display of engineering. But it takes time. The planes have to take off, form up, and fly to their targets. Their reach is limited by how far a pilot can fly. It's a powerful but methodical form of warfare. The Ohio is the complete opposite. Its power isn't in the air, it's in vertical launch tubes. Remember those 24 massive tubes that were converted? Each one of those tubes doesn't hold just one missile. They are packed with multiple launch canisters. In total, the USS Ohio can carry and launch 154 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles. Let that number sink in. 154. This isn't just a lot of missiles. This is more firepower than most entire navies possess. A typical U.S. Navy surface destroyer might carry 96 missiles for all its different jobs. The Ohio, a single submarine, carries 154 missiles dedicated purely to striking targets. It has the equivalent firepower of an entire surface battle group, all concentrated into one invisible, stealthy hull. It is, for all intents and purposes, a naval artillery battery that can hide in the ocean. And these aren't simple rockets. The Tomahawk cruise missile is a technological marvel in its own right. It's a pilotless jet, stuffed with a powerful warhead and guided by a combination of GPS, terrain mapping, and digital scene matching. It can be launched from the ocean, fly 1,000 miles over land, weaving through valleys and around hills, and then strike a specific target, like a command bunker or a power plant, with stunning accuracy. It can hit a single window from the other side of a country. This gives the Ohio a mission flexibility that is simply unmatched. While the Fujian's aircraft are best used against other ships or for establishing air dominance, the Ohio can sit hidden off a coast and reach deep inland. It can hold an entire nation's critical infrastructure at risk without ever being seen. It can cripple air defense systems, destroy command centers, and take out communications hubs, all from a safe distance, in the dead of night, and in any weather. The sheer volume of fire is almost impossible to comprehend. It has been said that the conventional explosive power of a full salvo from an Ohio-class SSGN is greater than the destructive force of all the bombs dropped by all the aircraft in the entirety of World War II, except delivered with pinpoint precision. But that's not all. As if being a floating missile silo wasn't enough, the Ohio has another trick up its sleeve. It is also a secret base for the most elite special forces in the world. Up towards the front of the submarine, behind the missile tubes, are facilities designed for the U.S. Navy SEALs. The submarine has something called a lockout chamber. This is a specialized compartment that can be flooded with water. It allows SEAL teams to exit and enter the submarine while it is still submerged, hidden deep below the waves. They can slip out into the dark water on miniature submarines or diving gear, completely undetected, to conduct missions on hostile shores. The Ohio can carry and support up to 66 Special Forces personnel and all their gear for extended periods. So, picture the complete package. This one vessel can linger unseen off a hostile coastline for months. It can, in a single devastating hour, unleash a hailstorm of 154 precision-guided missiles to blow a hole in an enemy's defenses. And then, in the ensuing chaos and darkness, it can silently release a team of Navy SEALs to swim ashore and conduct their secret war. It is a first strike weapon, a strategic bomber, and a special operations forward base, all rolled into one silent black hull. Hunter versus hunted. So we have these two incredible machines. On one side, the Fujian, a $12 billion symbol of power that rules the surface. On the other, the USS Ohio, a silent phantom that commands the depths. But when you put them in the same ocean, why does the USS Ohio have such a decisive edge? Why is this not even a fair fight? It all comes down to a few fundamental brutal truths about modern warfare. The first and most important truth is the battle of stealth versus visibility. Let's be blunt, you cannot hide an aircraft carrier. It is one of the largest moving man-made objects on the planet. From the moment it leaves its port, it is being watched. Spy satellites take its picture. Electronic sensors listen for its radio signals. Long-range radar planes can spot its formation from hundreds of miles away. The Fujian, for all its power, is a giant flashing neon sign that says, "I am here." It projects power precisely because it is seen. The USS Ohio is the exact opposite. It is designed from the inside out to be invisible. Its hull is shaped to slip through the water with minimal noise. Its machinery is mounted on rubber isolation pads to keep vibrations from leaking out. It is covered in special sound-absorbing tiles that eat up enemy sonar pings. It is a black hole in the ocean. It absorbs everything and gives nothing back. It can be just a few miles away from a destroyer, and that destroyer's sonar might mistake it for a thermal layer in the water or a school of fish. In the game of hide and seek, the Fujian is always found. The Ohio never has to be. This leads directly to the second brutal truth, the element of surprise. In any potential confrontation, the USS Ohio always holds the initiative. It gets to choose the time, the place, and the terms of the engagement. The captain of the Ohio can spend days trailing the carrier group, learning its patterns, finding the weak spot in its defensive screen, and positioning himself for the perfect shot. He is a predator studying its prey. The carrier group, on the other hand, is forced into a purely defensive posture. They have to assume a submarine is out there somewhere at all times. They are constantly reacting, constantly guessing. Their helicopters are flying endless patterns, dropping sonar buoys. Their escorts are zigzagging, their sonars pinging away. It's an exhausting, nerve-wracking game of waiting for an attack that could come at any second from any direction. The submarine is hunting. The carrier is being hunted. That psychological and tactical advantage is immense. Finally, there is the cold, hard calculus of cost. Think about the financial investment here. The Fujian represents a staggering $12 billion. And that's just for the ship itself. It doesn't include the billions more for its air wing of stealth fighters and early warning planes. It doesn't include the cost of the several escort destroyers and frigates that must sail with it to keep it safe. You are looking at a total package worth well over $20 billion. Now consider the USS Ohio. It was built decades ago. Its conversion into a guided missile submarine cost money, of course, but it was a fraction of the price of building a new carrier. For that investment, you get a platform that can single-handedly threaten that entire $20 billion investment. This is what strategists call a cost exchange problem for China. It is incredibly expensive for them to build and protect these magnificent carriers. It is relatively cost-effective for the United States to deploy a submarine that can neutralize them. This is the core of the asymmetry. The Fujian has to be perfect in its defense every single day for its entire long and expensive life. It has to detect every threat, stop every attack, and never make a mistake. The USS Ohio only has to be successful once. It only needs to find one opening, one gap in the coverage, one moment of distraction. It lurks in the darkness, presenting a permanent, undeniable, and affordable threat to one of its adversary's most treasured assets. It proves that in the modern era, a nation's most powerful warship can be made vulnerable not by a bigger warship, but by a ghost. The future of naval warfare. This dramatic encounter between the visible Titan and the invisible hunter forces us to ask a very big question. Is this the beginning of the end for the aircraft carrier? For nearly a century, the carrier has been the undisputed king of the seas, the ultimate symbol of a nation's ability to project power anywhere on the globe. But has technology finally caught up? The lesson from the Ohio and the Fujian is clear. The era of unchallenged surface dominance is over. Advancements in submarine technology, like the Ohio's incredible stealth, and the development of long-range, precision-guided anti-ship missiles are creating a world where a massive $12 billion platform can be held at risk by a single, much less expensive vessel. The carrier is no longer the hunter. It has become the hunted, a giant target that requires an entire fleet to protect it. This doesn't mean carriers are suddenly useless. They are still incredibly powerful tools for diplomacy and for controlling airspace. But their invincibility is a myth that has been shattered. And the United States is already planning for this new reality. The legendary Ohio-class guided missile submarines won't sail forever. They are scheduled to retire in the coming years. But their mission won't retire with them. That philosophy of distributed undersea firepower is simply too effective to abandon. The baton will be passed to the newer Virginia-class attack submarines, which are being equipped with something called the Virginia Payload Module. This will significantly increase their missile capacity, allowing them to carry out the same kind of devastating strikes from the shadows. The name of the boat will change, but the strategy remains the same. Overwhelming power, delivered silently and without warning. The story of the Fujian and the Ohio is more than just a tale of two ships. It's a lesson in the evolution of power. For decades, the ultimate symbol of naval might was the aircraft carrier, a colossal, awe-inspiring sight on the horizon, impossible to miss. But the 21st century may have a different icon. The ultimate symbol of naval power is no longer what you can see. It's what you can't. It's the knowledge that somewhere in the vast, dark silence of the deep, a predator is waiting. It holds the initiative, it controls the tempo, and it can decide the fate of nations without ever showing its face. The surface of the ocean is for show, but the real power, the decisive power, lies in the depths. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.